It's the first Power Rangers comic of 2022, and oh boy, does it start off with a bang. We've got two iconic characters, Zordon and Lord Zedd, throwing hands and fighting to what seems to be the death. We've also got stuff going on Earth, where we have the Zords and the Rangers trying to stop the Empyreals. And this is where we get to see a brand new Zord combination that was teased last year, and we finally get to see it. That's right, the DragonZord and Tiger Zord combination makes its grand debut in this comic, and oh boy, is that a cool looking design, and we'll definitely get to it later down the line in this review. So this issue is pretty good. We get to see Zordon and Lord Zedd fighting, we get to see some cool Zord action, which mostly takes up this issue, but I'm totally fine with it. But this issue is full of fan servicey moments in the Eltarian War, and once again, this arc is getting closer and closer to the climax within the next couple of months, and things are jumping from, as usual, from 100 to 1,000 really quick, as Ryan introduces plot twist to plot twist, brand new story element to brand new story element that I'm sure is going to take place in the future story arc we'll get later down the line. But before we talk about Mighty Morphin Issue 15, I just want to say, hey, I'm Ash. I talk about almost all things Power Rangers related on the channel. I do reviews for the TV show, the comics, I talk about theories and leaks and newses and stuff like that. So if you like that stuff, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Also, if you enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up and leave a comment down below because it helps out the channel a lot with the YouTube algorithms, so that'd be much appreciated. So I hope you really like what you see and you stick around for more content. So let's talk about issue 15 of Mighty Morphin. Let's go. So just like last month that I did with Power Rangers 14, I'm going to cover this review in the sections on where it takes place. I'll cover the moon battle first, and then I'll cover the Earth stuff, and then I'll talk about the stuff at the end, because it kind of interconnects at the end of the issue. So that way I'm not jumping all over the place if I cover it page by page. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense for you guys. So we'll talk about the moon stuff first, and then we'll talk about the battle on Earth, and then talk about the final few pages as the two stories interconnect. So, the issue opens up with a flashback 10,000 years ago in the past, where we see Zordon of Eltar facing off against Lord Zedd, and we see Lord Zedd how he looks now in his famous iconic design. And we see the first of many battles, or this could be one of the many battles that the two characters have had face to face against each other, where we see Lord Zedd and Zordon fighting each other in the past. And what's really interesting is Zordon is caught off guard that Lord Zedd seems to know about the history of where Zordon's been and stuff like that, because we see Lord Zedd invading one of the planets that Zordon was on with Zolfram and Zardius back in the day. So we get to see these two characters sort of fighting in planets they've been before as Lord Zedd conquers them. So after that flashback, we open up on present day where Lord Zedd and Zordon are fighting, and Zordon wants to get to the Zeo Crystal, but Lord Zedd is trying to stop him. And Zordon asks, why are you defending Zardius? He tried to kill you, you're defending him. And Lord Zedd is like, why are you not admitting for your crimes that you did all those years ago? And Zordon's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. What do you want about? And I get that, because if you remember, Zardius was the one who asked the Guardians of the Zeo Crystal to place a spell on it, where if anything with evil or malice tries to touch it, there would be serious setbacks. And Zolfram never knew that, and Zordon never knew that either. So these two characters never knew what Zardius was doing behind the scenes. And when Zolfram touched the Zeo Crystal, there was that serious setback we got back in Mighty Morphin Issue 10, seeing why Lord Zedd looks the way he does with that origin story. And for centuries, for years, Zedd has thought that Zordon tried to assassinate him all those years ago because he had no idea that what was going on. Neither of them did. So the whole hatred that Zedd has for Zordon is actually for Zardius the whole time. And that's why these two characters hate each other, or why Zedd hates Zordon, because he's the one that turned him into Zedd. He went from Zolfram to Zedd because of that whole Zeo Crystal incident. So Zordon is trying to defend himself by saying, I have no idea what you're talking about. And Zolfram / Zedd is calling him a liar, saying, you're the reason why I look this way. Like, stop lying, dude. You're the reason why I look this way during their whole fight. And while they're fighting, Zordon's like, Zardius has been playing us from the very beginning. He's manipulating us. He's sabotaged the Zeo Crystal. And Zedd's like, hey, shut up, man. Zardius is the one who saved me. He's the only reason why I'm alive right now. And Zordon asks, did you even think to ask why? Because maybe it's because he truly cared about you. Or maybe because he thought he failed to kill you, he could control a monster. And, well, Zardius knows exactly how to control a monster, which is sort of foreshadowing, or, not foreshadowing, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, sort of doing that double meaning that he's also controlling the Empyreals, who are monsters as well. So I kind of like that dialogue that the two characters have while this big battle is going on between the two. And in this issue, we don't really get an outcome for the battle between Lord Zedd and Zordon. I thought we would get an outcome for this battle, like there would be some kind of victor in this battle, or you would think the fight is over as one walked away and they got up and they're going to continue the fight next issue. But no, there's no real outcome in this battle, as it sort of teases something to happen next issue. And I'll get to that later down the line as I talk about the last few pages in this review. But overall, I thought the fight between Zordon and Zolfram / Zedd was definitely worth the wait. And the fight had a little bit of everything in it. It had a little beam struggles, it had some hand-to-hand combat, and not only that, the artwork was amazing in this issue as the fight was shown off through the artwork. So once again, praise to the artist who did an amazing job with this issue. Not only that, the coloring and the lighting worked really well with this issue as well. I love the artwork and the coloring as they showed off the fight in this issue, because it kind of showed how powerful Lord Zedd and Zordon actually are. And Zardius even comments saying these two characters are the most powerful warriors in the galaxy. And I don't know how powerful they are compared to everything out there in the Power Rangers universe, but their fight was pretty impressive as you saw shockwaves when these two characters were fighting. And I want to see if there is an actual outcome in this fight, but I get the feeling it's going to end with these two characters teaming up, which I'll get to near the end of the review. Alright, let's talk about the Zord stuff, because the Zord stuff is a giant kaiju mecha battle between the Space Empyreals versus the Megazords, because back on Earth we've got the DragonZord, the Thunder Zord, the Tiger Zord, and the Omega Ranger Zords facing off against the Empyreals. Although they kind of split up, and that makes it easier to follow, where the Omega Rangers take their battle to space with one of the Empyreals, and the other two Empyreals face off against the Thunder Zord, the DragonZord, and the Tiger Zord back on Earth. And it's some really cool artwork once again with this giant mecha Zord battle with the Empyreals, because this stuff is freaking crazy. I love it. And you get to see how powerful the Empyreals are, because even with all this Zord power, you can see a power struggle between these characters going on right now. So while the epic Zord battle is going on, you've got Zardius watching as he holds the giant shiny crystal in his hand, making his big villain speech saying he wants the Rangers to cower at their feet once they renew the planet. And while this is going on, you've got the Sentry Force 4, half of them questioning what are they doing right now, and the others saying this is just how the food chain goes, or this is how a soldier's meant to be. Where you have Zag and 00 sort of questioning their loyalty to Zardius right now, and Zenith and Zeta sort of looking down on humans and sort of following orders like a soldier should be. And this is where Zayla comes in, Candace, and they engage in another battle with the others, with the Sentry Force 4, and this is meant to be a distraction as Zardius is watching, so Grace can sneak up and destroy the crystal that Zardius has in his hand, sort of mimicking what happened way back in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 54, that finale, where the Zeo Crystal was destroyed. Was it 54? Well, the final issue of that comic run, where the not the Zeo Crystal, the Chaos Crystal, Green Energy Crystal was destroyed, and we got to see the outcome of that. But this one has more serious consequences because that crystal was sort of keeping the Empyreals in line and keeping him in check. So with that destroyed, they have their own free will and they can do whatever they want. And once they notice this, they are ready to wreak havoc on the galaxy. And that's what they plan on doing once this battle is over. Alright, enough stalling. I think you guys want to hear me talk about it. This issue has the combination of the Tiger Zord and the DragonZord. Something you guys have been asking me in almost every comic review. Ash, when do you think we're going to see the DragonZord and Tiger Zord combined? Ash, when do you think these Zords will combine? Ash, when do you think we'll see these Zords combined? Well, we finally got it. And if you're asking in this issue, and you're not this far into the video, then you haven't watched the whole thing. So, we've got the Tiger Zord DragonZord, or White Tiger DragonZord, and it looks fantastic. I love this Zord combination design. I freaking love it. The best way to describe it is kind of almost looking at how Zenkaiser looks in Zenkaiger, where he has sort of like the mouthpiece over his head. And that's what we kind of get in this Zord combination. But I love the weaponry on the White Tiger DragonZord's arm, as one of the arm pieces has the DragonZord tail with the White Tiger sword sort of poking out of it. And then the chest piece is sort of like as a shield, which also looks really cool as well. Like, this sword design looks freaking amazing. I love it. I'm so glad we finally got around to it, because I didn't know when we'd see it. I know we'd see it in this arc eventually, but I didn't think we would get it in this issue. And it makes sense we're going to get it in this issue, because next issue, Power Rangers 15, is the Omega Zord combination. So if we got it in that issue, it would definitely take away the spotlight from seeing those Zords combined. But seeing it here, it kind of took away from the Lord Zedd and Zordon fight, but either way, it's still a really cool moment, and I freaking love the design of this mech. It looks freaking amazing. Hasbro, if you're watching, I don't know if you are or not, but please, can we get a zap of this Zord combination? Pretty please. I know we're getting a DragonZord Lightning Collection that's rumored, so if we get a White Tiger Zord, can we please get one that combines with the White Tiger to make this sword design? I freaking love it. It looks amazing. Just, oh, this looks amazing. I'm so glad this was finally showed off. So with Zardius's big doohickey crystal destroyed, he teleports to the moon and goes down into the Cave of Deception, where he's got a backup plan, and that backup plan is to use the Zeo Crystal. And seeing him look at the Zeo Crystal, which is reminiscent of one of the Zordon flashbacks where he looked at it, this one's in a full view of him looking at the Zeo Crystal, you can tell what's going to happen to him with everything that's been going on in the past couple of years, because if Zardius touches the Zeo Crystal, he's going to end up like Zedd. And I don't think Zardius really understood what happened, like what kind of spell was placed on the Zeo Crystal in self-defense of trying to grab it if you're evil of heart. I think all he knew was a defensive spell was placed on it, but he doesn't know what kind of defensive spell was placed on it. Unless there's something else we don't know about, and he's the only one who's immune to it, because he probably made some kind of request as well to the Guardians of the Zeo Crystal. We'll have to find out. But I can totally see Lord Zedd and Zordon, or Zedd and Zordon, finding out some sort of big explosion, and they sort of see the outcome of Zardius grabbing the Zeo Crystal, and they team up to fight their former comrade, having this big freeway power struggle between the two, like an all-out brawl. Because maybe Lord Zedd and Zordon will put their differences beside to fight Zardius. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, I can see something bad about to happen to Zardius, which is probably a good thing because the dude's a douchebag, but seeing him look at the Zeo Crystal about to grab it, you can kind of guess what might happen to him in Power Rangers 15 or moving forward. So yeah, that was my review slash recap slash discussion slash podcast, whatever you want to call it, of Mighty Morphin 15. Overall, I thought it was a pretty solid issue. It was a really strong issue to start off the year, because we got a lot of cool things with this issue, such as Lord Zedd and Zordon fighting, the Tiger Zord DragonZord combination. That was really cool. I loved seeing that. I'm finally glad we got around to seeing that. And like I said during the review, if you're asking me where the Tiger Zord DragonZord combination is, then you didn't watch enough of the review. But I'm excited to see where this arc is going to go moving forward, and with the chains ripped off the Empyreals, you can tell that they're going to cause a lot of destruction, and they're going to have to be taken out really quickly, and I am curious to see how the Rangers are going to defeat these godlike beings, because these things seem like they can't be stopped, and I wonder how they're going to get stopped with how powerful they are, so I'm very curious to see how these godlike beings will be destroyed. But with that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. Special thanks to all the members and Patreon supporters such as Andrew McCoy and Swagger4. Big special shout outs to the Power Bunny, who's a $30 member. If you want to get your name in the credits of every video / shout it out, become a Patreon member or YouTube supporter, and certain tiers will get you certain perks, because that really helps out the channel and keeps the lights on here, and your support is always greatly appreciated. So thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit those buttons. I'll see you guys in the next video, and if I don't see you in the next video, I'll see you in my Power Rangers issue 15 review, where we get closer and closer to the climax of this story arc. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, take care, bye.